Let's move past the Jets. Let's talk about the Patriots offense, which I think is the biggest takeaway from a Patriots standpoint. And I don't know, look, they won 25-6. They had 4 picks. They were playing with half the field the entire game. The points were certainly not what you expected them to be. So the takeaway is, can the offense do more? Should the offense be more? I think Ray's opening take is where we start with this. The offensive line to start this game, I think they settled down a little bit, or maybe the offensive play calling helped them out. But the offensive line was atrocious to start this game.
When they took Durant out, that's when things changed, and they put Heron in there. That's when everything started.
Haran.
Yeah, Haran.
They both suck.
Well, yeah, but Durant's worse. Durant was letting people go left and right. He was getting at the quarterback at all times. So as soon as Durant went out, things changed a little bit. But that offensive line, get Dante Starnecki back here, because that offensive line is fucking terrible. He's a genius, too, because he's done it before. I remember when he retired the first time and they brought him back, he changed that whole philosophy back up, and it was like a legit offensive line. And this is just trash.
He ain't coming back, but
I know that.
I know, but I totally agree with you. There's a move that you can make on Weenwa out there at left guard. I know you're going to cause a problem at another area, and I know the Patriots really like to just kind of keep those guys where they are. But Weenwa played very well at right tackle last year, and if Trent Brown's going to miss some serious time, you went out and you spent money on David Andrews and Ted Karras this year. Karras is one of those guys that can play center and guard. I don't understand why you're not going with Karras at left guard and trying to move Weenwa out and let him go right guard. I think, or right tackle, I should say, because Trent Brown's not going to be healthy all year. He's battled this calf injury dating back for his first year with the Raiders. He missed 8 games last year with a calf injury. Now you played 7 plays and you're already out. So basically you miss another 2 games now. I mean, you got to think long-term options, and Durant's not the guy. He was terrible, and Haran is, you can see why he's a backup. At least Weenwa looked like a competent starting right tackle last year, and that's probably what you're going to need, because you can't let Mac Jones keep getting hit, and eventually the hurries and the rushes are going to force him to make some pretty bad decisions, and that's going to cost you some games. Additionally, you're not going to open the run game up if you get this trash that you have. I mean, you saw it yesterday, 3.9 yards a carry for Damien Harris. He had one big run, the 26-yard touchdown. That was it. They pretty much bottled him up for the rest of the game on 16 carries. So you're seeing the trickle-down effect right there.
Also, Isaiah Wynn looked terrible yesterday. False starts, holding calls. As your left tackle, that's not a good look for you when you're making all these mental mistakes like that. So,
yeah, your tackles are a mess right now. And look, Trent Brown, to your point, Bill, Trent Brown might be an injury concern all season long. If they're relying on him, I think that's a mistake. I love your idea of Weenwa on the right tackle spot, because you need.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome. You need to stop rushes from the edge. That you're getting fucking destroyed there. But what's interesting, if you look at the runs from the Patriots and their big runs, they've mainly come through the center position on the right side. Shaq Mason and David Andrews. Left runs on the left side. Isaiah Wynn has 2, if not 3, gigantic holding calls on some off-tackle runs on the left side. He's not a great run blocker, I don't think. And they like to pull from that left guard position and run to the right. So that's why they had Trent Brown in that right tackle as a fucking pave grader to move there. They're to your point, Bill, they're going to have to make some moves. They're going to have to shuffle some things around. Ted Karras is as steady as a backup can be in the NFL. I'm with you on that one. You can't have a turnstile at right tackle for the rest of the year, because you're going to get this little baby boy, Mac Jones, fucking smoked and killed in 3 sacks yesterday on Sunday. Hit numerous times in the first 2 weeks. He can't withstand that. And to your opening take, Bill, beautiful segue, Rich, that's probably what's leading to a lot of the play calls by Josh McDaniels. And inevitably, when you get to the red zone, what's leading to them not throwing to the end zone, because this kid doesn't have the time to throw. Now, that it may be mixed. It probably is, because we're in real life. You probably had a couple chances to throw into the end zone. But if you're McDaniels and you look at this offensive line and you're inside the 20, you got 3 points guaranteed with fucking money back Nick Folk back there, are you going to risk a five-step drop to throw a 17-yard pass into the end zone with Aguilar when you got, an absolute bag of shit in right tackle? Probably not, right? You're going to keep it close. So I don't know. A little bit of Richie rambles there, Bill, but to your point with Mac Jones not throwing in the end zone, a lot of it has to do with the O-line, no?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but when you're in there, you could still put him in shotgun and you can still get rid of the ball quickly. You've seen it there. And you again, you went out and spent money on Bourne and Aguilar. Bourne hasn't really, I don't think he saw the field much after that fumble, not fumble, whatever you want to call it in the first
16-yard end around. He had a couple plays. He was out there. I don't have the snap count in front of me, but yeah.
Not Aguilar either.
Not enough for my liking. You have Jacoby. I mean, you should be able to stretch the field. You spend a lot of money on tight ends. Those guys shouldn't need a lot of space to get open, and you need to take the shots. It just seems like the training wheels are going to need to come off now. Again, you're 2-7 in the red zone and touchdowns in the first 2 games. You've had Mac Jones played the best game of his career. Obviously, it's albeit 2 games, but 280 yards, and you lost. Now he throws 180 yards, and you play that against the Jets. If you go up against a team like New Orleans or Tampa Bay, and you're throwing 180 yards, and you're check down city, you throw you were 20 or 28 or 24 or 28 for 180 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles, none of that. But dude, it's check down city, and eventually you can't keep kicking Nick Folk field goals. You had 4 more yesterday, 3 the week before. I mean, you can't win football games just trying to rely on Nick Folk and getting into the 20-yard line and just fucking worried about field goals. This is a big reason you lost last year with Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton couldn't throw into the fucking end zone. It was the plays, they knew everything was coming. What was going on? It was a run by Cam or a run by Harris or Michelle. And it's like you're kind of repeating that now. You saw James White get in there, get some carries, and then obviously Damien Harris broke a long one. But still, like you're too predictable right now in the red zone because you're not taking shots at the end zone. You're just wasting Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, who have very good success in the red zone. I mean, Hunter Henry's get 8 or 9 touchdowns a year in the red zone, and you haven't targeted him once.
Can I flip this on you? What if they're just not trying to show their hands going against New Orleans or Tampa Bay?
Fuck that, Ray. What? You're kind of trying to win every fucking game, dude. Come on.
The shamrocks are bleeding out of your eyes. Jesus fucking Christ, not showing their cards. Here's
this, a preseason? No.
Here's what I'll give you some. I listened to Greg Bedard on the post show, the 98.5 post show, and his explanation or hypothesis, that means guess, Ray, was that Josh McDaniels and these players are just new. He's learning how to use them and what to do with them. Mac Jones is still rookie. It's all just new. It's all just brand fucking new. And he doesn't know exactly where to put these guys in the best positions to succeed, especially in a truncated space like the red zone. So you're not seeing a lot of high pressured, high leveraged, risky throws, especially in a game where you are completely in control of. Now, 180 yards doesn't tell the whole story. When you're only working with half the goddamn field, it's tough to rack up yards from a passer. But that doesn't change. But that doesn't change the fact that they didn't throw into the end zone. The biggest one to me, there were 2 examples to me. Number one, on the first half, when they went James White reverse pass to Mac Jones, and he completed it for 15 yards.
That's a touchdown. You've seen Brady do it over the years to everybody.
What the Trent? Who was the quarterback? Trent? What the fucking guy? The Rams quarterback?
Trent Green.
Trent Green was the announcer. He said Aguilar was running to the post and he wanted him for a touchdown. Yeah. So that's clearly not a play that they're looking to get 15 yards out of. That's a missed opportunity for Mac Jones. From the TV perspective, we don't know how many of those missed opportunities there were. I'm sure throughout the course of the week, the Bedards and the Pirellos and people will tell us how many he missed. I don't think it's that many because I don't think they're calling that many downfield shots because of the O-line and because of the personnel. But the second missed opportunity I think they had was the end of the game, their last chance into the red zone, where they ran it 3 times in a row. I get their bleeding clock. I get the game's over. But you got a rookie quarterback. You got the Saints and the Bucs coming. You're competing for the division. That last run of the game for the Patriots was stuff for a 2 or 3 yard loss. Everybody knew it was coming. A nice little play action rollout in a tight end, scoop off the side. Wouldn't that have been nice to see? Just executed. Everybody gets a little muscle memory out of it. Put it in the fucking bank for later. Don't save it so teams don't see it, Ray, because God forbid they see fucking nuke.
You guys are so fucking mean. I don't like back up.
They see a bootleg for the Patriots. They're gonna have to fucking defend it. I would have just liked them to pull out a little bit, let Mac Jones throw that at that very safe time in the game, where even if it's incomplete, even if it's intercepted, you're not losing that game. Those are the opportunities I would have seen missed. But overall, he
tried that with Stidham once against the Jets, and it ended up being a pick 6, and Brady's ass had to come back into the fucking field.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The play calling did get a little bit frustrating throughout the game. I think we can admit that. A lot of shit at the line of scrimmage, a lot of predictable shit. 3 of 12 on third down. Not what we're looking to see. A couple nice screen passes. They had a 26-yarder to James White early in the game, but a couple of those, I mean, you could see it coming in on the TV broadcast. Like, and James White got blown up a couple times, avoided injury,
right at the line. They lost a couple yards too. His best throw was that one down the sidelines to Jacoby Myers, placed it perfectly, went up and
ball.
That was a 25, 26 yarder. It wasn't that long, but it was a perfectly thrown ball. That's the second week in a row you kind of seen him throw one like that. James White to the wheel route was another perfectly placed ball. I mean, you're seeing good throws, but I just like to see him more attack, more the check down stuff, just attack. You got to, especially against a team like Tampa and New Orleans. You saw the Panthers throw all over New Orleans yesterday with Marshawn Lattimore out, and you're probably looking like him being out again next week too. So at home, you want to kind of see him spread the field a little bit more. You're relying a lot on the run, and if your O-line's not doing great. I mean, you're too predictable with the James White factor. You got blown up multiple times, at least 3 or 4 times behind the line of scrimmage on screen plays. They sniffed out a couple of them. And again, you got to start attacking these wide receivers down the field. James White had 45 yards receiving and it led the team. You can't really have that, and I get you only throw 180 yards, but 45 yards out of your leading receiver is not something. Again, that's Cam Newton-esque from last year, and I don't want to. I hate trying to compare it, but I'm just saying that's what you got a quarterback with an arm. You got a guy that can read the field, and I don't know if he's scared to throw it or if he's just taking the easiest thing to do and just check it down and move the change. But teams are cracking down on the red zone. Throw the ball, throw it deep. 20 yards, 30 yards. 75% of his throws are under 10 yards? I mean, come on.
Okay. All right. So let's couch this with rookie quarterback, new offensive personnel, and a shitty opponent in the Jets that you had control of. And let's not go overboard. And let's also mention that we saw one Rob Gronkowski seam route with Hunter Henry wide open. That I'll steal another take from. It was either Joe Murray or Ted Johnson said there may be a reason you're not seeing Hunter Henry a lot in this game is because their offensive line sucks and you have to keep in some, if not max, then close to max personnel with these tight ends, and they're chipping and just kind of fading out and not really running routes. We got one of those seam routes from Hunter Henry last Sunday that I expect to see a lot more.
It's gorgeous too.
It was beautiful.
25 yards.
He also had another nice deep drag route, I think, for 12 or 15 yards. That's exactly what you expect out of Hunter Henry. It's exactly what we expected of this offense. Can you not feature these fucking tight ends? To your point, Bill, if you're going to throw down the field, let's attack the middle of the zone like you've done for 20 years with your 2 high-end tight ends and get them the ball. So